Every season there's that one show, that one where the synopsis gets passed around and people read it and go, wait, is this real? Did someone actually greenlight this? And for a brief, beautiful window of about 48 hours, it becomes the most talked about thing in the seasonal conversation, before everyone moves on to arguing about the same 3 shonen they were arguing about last season. This season, that show is about a rooster, and you lot voted for it. Out of everything airing this spring, and there is no shortage of things airing this spring, you looked at the poll I put out, you looked at your options, and you collectively pointed at the chicken show. I don't know what that says about you, but I respect it more than I probably should. Specifically, it's about a very moody, very emotionally unavailable rooster who wanders around Japan with a side chick. Get it? Side chick? Defeating trauma-born demons with the power of screaming at them while searching for the demon that killed his sister. And I need you to understand that the show plays every single word of that completely straight-faced, with the confidence of a series that does not believe it owes you an explanation. I read the manga, I watched the episodes, I'm going to tell you if it's worth your time. My name is Frameskip, and apparently, this is my life now. Rooster Fighter is a webcomic by Shu that's been running since 2020. Viz Media and Sanzigen got together and decided it warranted a 12-episode anime adaptation, which landed on Toonami in the US a couple of weeks back. The Japanese broadcast follows the US release about 3 weeks later, which means Japan is watching their own show arrive like a package that got held up in customs, and I genuinely find that quite funny. Only a handful of episodes have aired at the time of this video, so this isn't a full season verdict. Look, every season you've got maybe 4 or 5 shows that are genuinely worth your time, buried under 40 that aren't, and the window where you can reasonably add something new without feeling like you're already behind is maybe 11 days. And I'm here to help you spend those 11 days correctly. So, the setup. 3 years ago, mutant demons started appearing across Japan. They're born from humans who broke under extreme emotional distress or unresolved trauma, which is the detail that makes this more than a dumb, fun premise, but we'll get to that. Some of the demons are harmless and some are not. And walking through it all is Keiji, our protagonist. A lone rooster who has a strict moral code, a dead sister, and again, the ability to make demons explode by screaming at them. Which the anime introduces and then never comments on again. And that is probably the correct creative decision, I think. His sister was killed by something called the White Demon, and he's looking for that very specific demon on his journeys. That is the whole engine. It's a revenge western where the cowboy is a chicken and the frontier is modern Japan, and the show is completely unashamed of that. And honestly, you should respect it for that, because most shows that are this conceptually ridiculous spend half their runtime apologising for it. This one does not. Episode 1 opens with 2 roosters having sex.
But holy hell, is it erotic?
And I'm telling you right now, this is pretty much the first thing you see. Minute 1, episode 1. The tone is set immediately. Keiji walks into frame looking like he hasn't processed a single positive emotion in years, and yet you understand precisely what kind of show this is before the mid-episode advert stinger.
Full Metal Alchemist.
It's beak fiction. Get it? Beak fiction? I refuse to apologise for that, and I warn you it isn't the last chicken-related pun in this. Episode 2 introduces a young female chick who is very obviously immediately in love with Keiji. And the age gap between them gave me a minute of pause. And I want to be clear that I am fully aware that these are chickens. I know that chickens do not observe the same developmental timeline as human beings, and the questions of consent as they apply to poultry constitute a philosophical territory I did not come here to explore. And yet, my brain flagged it anyway, because apparently that is who I am after this many years of watching these Eastern cartoons. But moving on. What episode 2 actually gets right, and this matters, is the way it handles the demons. The show makes a real effort to show you who these creatures were before they shattered. You understand them before Keiji screams them into chunks, and in a show that could have been pure style over substance from the first minute, that emotional groundwork is the first thing that makes the whole premise feel like it has somewhere to go.
And now for something completely different.
Sanzigen is on animation, and if that name means something to you, then you already know that this is a primarily CG production. And I can feel you loading up the CG anime speech in the comments, so just let me get there first. The CG is fine. Sometimes it's better than fine. The demon fights, when the budget is actually being pointed at the screen, carry real weight. There are sequences in these first few episodes where Sanzigen is doing the work, and you can feel it. And I found myself reluctantly impressed by a couple of moments, which is not a sensation I enjoy, but there it is. And then there are other moments, like where Keiji is doing the whole powering up thing, the camera rotating around him, showing off all the imperfections that come with using a CG model like this. These scenes are heavily stylized but still give off a PS2 level of quality at times. And sitting there watching that, I start thinking about how there was a time when CG in anime meant something specific. It meant we were doing something here that would bankrupt the studio at the end of the day, because the complexity of the animation would take decades to complete by traditional hand-drawn methods. It was a scalpel. You brought it out for the Ramiel sequences, for the shots where the scale demanded it, and then you put it away. It showed up exactly where it was needed and left without making a scene. Now it's a paint roller. Every wall, all the walls, someone is doing the ceiling with it and nodding like that was the plan all along. And the genuinely infuriating part of that is, I understand it. I understand it completely, and it makes it even worse. A 12-episode anime adaptation of a webcomic about grieving Rooster was not getting made if someone somewhere wasn't cutting serious corners on production cost. And traditional hand-drawn animation was the corner they cut. And the alternative is the show not existing, which I'd rather not accept. So I'll take the paint roller, quietly and begrudgingly, while making a face I'll continue to make for the remainder of the season. I just miss when it felt like a choice, that's all. Small grief, but moving on. I won't usually go out of my way to read an upcoming anime's manga before it's released. Degenerate behaviour, I know. But for this one, I read Volume 1 a few weeks before release, and what it mostly confirmed is that the source material has its head screwed on right. From the cover alone, you know what you're dealing with. The art, the title, the completely unearned masculine energy radiating off the page like that one old guy at the gym that loves to floss between his legs with a towel in the middle of the changing room. It communicates everything before you've opened it, and what's inside is genuinely better than the premise has any right to be. The battle choreography is properly thought out. The framing understands how to move the eye through a fight. There's a flashback involving a turtle somewhere in the middle of the volume that is legitimately tense and kind of unsettling in a way that I absolutely was not prepared for. Which is a sentence I never thought I'd be saying about a book called Rooster Fighter. And yet, here we are. The best monster design in the volume is a salaryman demon screaming about his quarterly quotas while dismantling office buildings. And that single detail tells you everything you need to know about whether this author's sense of humour is going to work for you. If that sentence landed, then you're probably fine. If it didn't, well, there's other anime out this season. A few episodes in and I want to know what happens next. That's the honest answer here. The show is confident in a way smaller seasonal productions often aren't. It commits to its own absurdity without flinching. And the emotional core underneath the revenge plot is solid enough that you end up caring slightly more than you were planning to when you clicked on a show about a chicken. The CG has bad days, the pacing has that webcomic texture to it if you're paying attention, and it is, at the end of the day, a show about a rooster dealing with unresolved grief by screaming at monsters. Which, if I'm being honest, is more emotionally coherent than most of what's airing this season. Is it worth picking up? Yeah, I'd say so. Give it the old 3 episodes try at least. If you're not on board by the time Keiji screams his first demon into oblivion, then the show and you are simply not compatible. And that is a you problem, not a show problem. And I say that with genuine peace in my heart.